Those nawala. Okay, so this morning we will be talking about the moles and how to compute for the molecular weight, determining the amount of the substance. Remember, the mole class, ang definition nito is ito yung unit natin na ginagamit for the amount of substance. Again, this is the unit we use para sa amount of a substance. That is the mole. So today we will compute the molar mass of 1 mole of a substance and also determine the amount of a substance in mole and millimole. So again, mole ang tawag natin, symbol niya is mole without an E. So itong nasa open and closed parenthesis is the symbol of the mole. Now this is the SI unit again for the amount of substance or amount of chemical species. And yung definition niya talaga, it's the quantity of anything that has the same number of particles found in 12 grams of carbon. So the reference here is carbon, and if you have 12 grams of carbon, anything that has the same number of particles of that is 1 mole. Okay, so yung carbon 12, the 12 there is the atomic weight of carbon. So anything na may kaparehas na number of particles ni 12 grams ni carbon, 1 mole yun siya. And it is also defined as the number of particles that is the Avogadro's number. So the Avogadro's number, class, take note, is 6.022 times 10 raised to the power of 23. That's the number of particles that we used to call as the Avogadro's number. So that's just the definition of mole. Now, we have the so-called molar mass. The other name for molar mass is atomic mass or molecular mass if it is a compound. Atomic mass siya kapag it is just an atom or an element. So when you say molar mass, the mass in grams of 1 mole of a substance. So take note, when you say molecular weight, or if you are asked to compute for the molar mass or the molecular weight, it's the mass or it's the weight of a substance in grams. Therefore, ang unit natin is grams, pero in 1 mole. So definitely, yung unit talaga ni molar mass, let me write sa screen, is, since that is grams, pero sa isang mole, so this one is the unit of our molar mass or molecular weight. It's grams per mole. Now, how do we calculate the molar mass? We will just add all the atomic masses of the elements found in the chemical formula. We have to take into consideration also the number of atoms present. So i-multiply natin siya with the atomic mass. So let us have an example. I believe this is not new sa inyo kasi sa Chem101 nag-compute din tayo ng molar mass or molecular weight. Parehas lang yan sila ha. Molar mass or molecular weight, parehas lang. So again, example, compute for the molar masses of the following compounds. Let's start with H2O or our water. So how do we compute for the molar mass? We'll just have to identify the elements found in the compound. So syempre we have hydrogen, at the same time water, and we have to identify how many atoms are present. Now for hydrogen, the 2 here, this one is called the subscript that refers to the number of hydrogen atoms present in water. So all in all, we have 2 atoms of hydrogen, while for oxygen, if you cannot find a subscript there sa baba, then automatic that is 1. Okay? And then after that, i-multiply natin sila each with their respective atomic masses. Where can we find that? Sa periodic table. So again, take out your periodic table and identify the atomic mass of hydrogen. But para uniform tayo, let's just round off the atomic mass to the nearest whole number. Again, nearest whole number yung gagamitin natin. So for hydrogen, definitely this is just 1. Well, for oxygen, what will be the atomic weight or atomic mass ni oxygen?
16.
Okay, very good. Again, let us round the atomic mass to the nearest whole number. So, i-multiply lang natin. So, this is 2 times 1 is equal to, again, 2 times 1 is equal to 2, and then 1 times 16 is syempre 16, and then we will just add. Okay? I-add lang natin. So, this is 18. Take note of the unit. It should be 8 grams per mole. So, this is the molar mass of water. Again, sa isang mole ng water, we have 18 grams. That's the molar mass. Okay? Now, let us try the number 2 and number 3. Let's start first with the number 2. Can you please solve that in your paper there? C6H12O6, so let's just call this glucose or our physiological sugar. Again, let's just call this glucose or our physiological sugar or our blood sugar. That is the molecular formula. But let us try to solve for the molar mass. So meaning yan, how much grams of glucose is present in 1 mole. That's the molar mass. Ay, joke. Anong joke? Okay. Sige. Be careful with the computation and be careful with the unit. Sometimes nakakalimutan natin ilagay yung unit, and then remember even in your Chem 101, it was emphasized that numbers are meaningless if hindi natin siya lalagyan ng unit. Okay? Sige, so you have your answers now. Let's compute sa screen para alam nyo kung tama ba yung sinend nyo or hindi. So again, the same thing. We will just list down all the elements present in our compound here, in our glucose, for example, and then identify how many atoms of each element are present. So we have here 6 for carbon, and then 12 for hydrogen, and then 6 for oxygen. And multiply each of them to their respective atomic weights. So look at your periodic table. Carbon is 12, hydrogen again is 1, and oxygen is 16. So this is 72, and then this is 12, and then 16 times 6 is 96. Let's add everything. 96 plus 12 plus 72 is 180 grams per mole. Okay, so this one is the correct answer for the molar mass of C6H12O6. And then let's have the number 3, CH2O. Neglect the writing sa screen. Paspasa nila. So the same thing. That's your answer, 30 grams per mole. So walay kurat ha, dili lisod ang ato ang first round sa computation. So again, we have carbon, hydrogen. Parehas sila ng elements. But syempre, different yung number of atoms present. 1. This is 2, and then this is just 1. The same thing, this is 12, 1, and 16. So, this is 30 grams per mole. So, I hope next time, if you are asked to solve for the molar mass or the molecular weight, you know what to do. Okay, again, i-summarize ko lang. Identify first the elements present in the compound, and then identify the number of atoms for each element and then multiply each of them to their respective atomic weights. But let us round up the atomic weights to the nearest whole number. And then the product for each element will be added. Yun yung magiging molar mass ng ating compound. Okay, so that's the first one. Any question about the computation ng molar mass? Wala, naintindihan yan ha. Sino dito yung hindi na medyo na-confuse pa para balikan natin siya? Kaya. I believe kaya. Dali lang na siya. Okay, now let's move on to the conversion of moles and millimoles. Again, this is for the conversion of moles and millimoles. Kasi sometimes you can see in the label of our chemicals or even our products in the market, minsan yung kanilang label or yung kanilang unit na ginagamit instead of mole, it is millimoles. Especially yung mga elements natin. Meron kayo niyan, clinical chemistry ninyo wherein you are going to identify the amount of like sodium or potassium in the blood. Most of the time, you are going to use millimole in the unit. So how do we convert? So this is our conversion factor. 1 millimole is equal to 10 raised to the power of negative 3 moles. Again, please take note of our conversion factor. Sa isang millimole daw, meron tayong 10 raised to the power of negative 3 moles. Wala pala akong example dyan. So for example, you are given 3 moles of sodium. How much is this in millimole? So minsan merong ganitong mga problem. Again, you're given 3 moles of sodium. How much is this if we will use the unit millimole? So again, conversion lang tayo. So we have here 3 moles of Na. Multiply natin siya sa ating conversion factor. So this is how we are going to do it. Remember, ito yung ating conversion factor. Ilalagay natin, class, si mole here. 10 raised to the power of negative 3 mole para makancel. Again, para makancel. Dapat nasa taas yung isa, nasa baba yung isa. Pag baliktad, iba na yung answer natin and hindi mo na makakancel yung unit. Kung si millimole ang nasa baba. So let's cancel the mole of Na and then we will be left with the unit millimole. Okay, so what's the answer for this? 3 divided by 10 raised to the power of negative 3. Ila-answer ninyo din ha. Let me see. Say nakuha ninyo sa inyong calculator. Again, 3 divided by 10 raised to the power of negative 3. Let me wait for the others. Okay, 3,000. Ano ginawa niyo sa calculator ninyo? Ano sige yung din niyo sa inyong calcio? 3 divided by unsa? 10, tapos unsa sunod? The correct answer here is 300 millimoles of sodium. What happens sa calculator ninyo? Ganito ang gawin nyo ha. Diba 3, input the 3, divided by, and then, syempre, wait, sorry. Anong ginawa ko pala sa calculator? Ako di yung, let me recheck ha, anong ginawa ko. Nangyari. Okay. 3,000. That should be 3 divided by 10. Ano ang exponent ng 10? 'Di ba negative 3? Anong in-input niyo? Input niyo yung 10. What's next? After sa 10, anong ginawa niyo? Ang sige pindot ninyo. Ingana, that is why 3,000. Mag-iiba kasi yung answer natin here. If we use that one, ang ginagamit ko kasi ito, 10, and then, di ba sa tabi, I don't know if you have the same calculator, sa tabi ng ans, di ba may ANS dyan, meron nakalagay EXP or itong times 10 raised to the power of negative, 10 times 10, yung iba times 10 yung nakalagay. So yan kasi ang pinipindot ko pag nag-e-exponent ako. So again, nag-i-input ako ng 10, tapos tapos before ko ilagay si negative 3. Ang sa inyo, 3 divided by 10 raised to the power of negative 3. Ano yun siya? Oh, this way I don't use that one. Diretso ang exponent input. Kaya nag 3,000. How about nag 0.03? Ano nangyari dyan? Baliktad? Wait lang ha. Oh, okay. Kasi this is 1 times 10 pala. Okay, okay. Wait lang. This should be like this. Ulitin natin ha, kasi kasi yung ginamit ko. Iba yung answer natin. Kasi the pala is times 10, no? Hindi dapat siya times 10. Sige, that's okay. Let me check ha. This is 3 moles times 1 millimole is equal to 10 raised to the power of 3 mole. So, ang ginamit ko yung XP. You have to times 10 pala. Kasi ang meaning pala ng E is equal to times 10 raised to the power of something. So this one is the exponent here. Hindi pala siya times 10. So tama yung ginawa nyo, class. Yeah, naka-exponent pala siya. Okay, okay. So 3 times, ganito pala dapat. 3 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. That's 3,000. 3,000 mole. Okay, wait, let me delete it. 3,000 moles, millimoles. Okay. I forgot. Diniretso kasi siya sa E. Ang ginawa ko kasi 3 tapos nag-input ako ng division. And then again, ang nilagay ko 10E negative 3. I forgot that E is times 10. So this becomes 10 times 10 raised to the power of negative 3. So ako ang mali. Tama yung ginawa niyo na 3 divided by, baliktad. 10 and then gumamit kayo nito raised to the power of negative 3. So 3,000, yes, the correct answer is 3,000. I-clarify ko lang, gagamit lang pala tayo ng E sa calculator kapag meron tayong base number here and then idudugtong natin yung times 10 kapag ka-scientific notation siya. Again, kapag ka-scientific notation siya, this is the time we use the times 10 raised to the power of E or yung exponent na katabi ni answer. Okay? So again, your answers are correct. We have 3,000 except doon sa nabaliktad ata yung ano nangyari dito? Millimoles over nabaliktad ata nasa taas si mole and then si millimole ang nasa baba kaya naging tama ba 0.03 and some of you answered 0.01. So let's recheck. Let's have another example. So example, we are given with 5.05 moles of potassium, and then you are asked to compute for the corresponding millimoles. Let's recheck the process para mas klaro siya. So what are we going to do? Kindly compute there sa inyo sa calculator. Again, we have here the given 5.5 moles of K of potassium, and then multiply. Again, sa baba yung mole para makancel natin siya. Therefore, sa taas, si millimole. And then again, our conversion factor, 10 raised to the power of -3, and then 1 millimole sa taas. What's your answer? 5,050. Okay, so let us check. 5.05 divided by 10 raised to the power of -3. Your answer. Okay, very good. This is 5,050, and then our unit will become millimole of potassium. So this is now the unit. Pero pag baliktad class, like I'll give you 10 millimoles of calcium, and then you are asked to compute for the mole, baliktarin natin yung process. So 10 millimoles of calcium here, and then si millimole na naman ang sa baba. Okay? And then sa taas na naman si moles. Kasi again, we really need to cancel this and kailangan maiwan yung desired unit. So what is again our conversion factor? 10 raised to the power of -3, and then sa baba is 1 millimole. So pag i-multiply natin siya, 10 times, is that 10 raised to the power of -3 is, what's your answer? Okay, 0.01, and then again, our unit now is mole of calcium. So yun lang, conversion lang tayo. Again, conversion lang tayo. Now, huwag kayo malilito with paano natin ilagay si mole and si millimole lang. Ang isipin nyo lang is we need to cancel. Thus, the first unit should be nasa taas ilagay, and then yung isang unit na kapareho sa conversion factor dapat nasa baba siya para makancel siya. Okay? Any question about the conversion of mole and the millimole? Wala? Klaro na tayo dyan. So let us apply now the things that we did a while ago na nag-compute tayo ng molecular formula and molecular mass, and then nag-convert tayo moles and millimoles sa ating problem solving. Okay, so we will start now with the problem solving. Determine the number of moles and millimoles of benzoic acid in 2 grams of the pure acid. Okay, again, determine the number of moles and millimoles of benzoic acid. The molecular weight of benzoic acid is 1 to 2.1 grams per mole. We don't need to compute for the molecular weight anymore kasi it is already given in the problem. And then, another given in 2 grams of the pure daw na benzoic acid. When we do problem solving, nagli-list down tayo ng given. So ano yung mga givens natin dito? We have here the molar mass or the molecular weight of benzoic acid, which is 1 to 2.1 grams per mole. And then another given here is the mass. The mass mismo ni benzoic acid, which is 2.0 grams. Now, what is asked in the problem? What is asked in the problem? We have here the moles and also the millimoles. Now, how do we compute for this one? Ano natin ito siya i-compute? I actually use the formula moles is equal to the weight or the mass. So I'm talking about the mass of the substance here divided by its molar mass. So again, I use this formula para uniform tayo, dili na ta maglibog kung unsay buhaton, unsay pagkasunod-sunod sa computation. So again, I use this formula, moles is equal to the weight of substance divided by its molar mass. So in this case, we can compute first for the number of moles. We have there the weight or the mass of substance, that is 2.0 grams. And then we will just divide it sa kanyang molar mass, which is already given in the problem, 122.1 grams per mole. Ayan. And take note that we can cancel the grams class and that we will be left with the unit moles. Although per mole yan siya dyan sa ilalim, pero when we divide it, we will actually get the reciprocal. So, hindi per mole yung kanyang unit. Instead, moles talaga. So, 2.0 divided by 122.1 grams is how much? I feel like yung answer din, ha? 2.0 divided by 122.1 grams per mole. Let's just use 4 decimal point sa ato ang answer. 0.0164 mole. Let's just use 4 decimal because we also need to compute for the millimoles para mas precise siya. So we have the first one that is asked in the problem. And now we will just convert this. I-convert lang natin ito, 0.0164 mole times, ano nga yung conversion factor natin? Sa isang millimole daw, meron tayong 10 raised to the power of negative 3 mole. So we can cancel this and let's do the math. 0.0164 divided by this becomes divided by, so 10 raised to the power of negative 3 is pila 16.4. Okay, 16. Oy, ano man yung pen? Wait lang ha, 16. Hindi siya mo agi. Diba na ako ang tab? Ano siya? 16.4. Take note of the unit. It should be millimoles. Okay, so that's how you do the computation. If you are asked to compute for both the moles and millimoles of a specific compound, and then given yung kanyang amount or kanyang mass, and then given din yung kanyang molecular weight. Or even if hindi given yung kanyang molecular weight, as long as we have our periodic table, we can compute for it. So do not forget our formula there in computing the number of moles. We have weight of substance divided by its molar mass or its molecular weight. So we will start with the moles, and then after that, we will just convert it to millimoles if ever dalawa talaga yung hinahanap. Okay? So again, in 2 grams daw of benzoic acid, meron tayo dyan 0.0164 mole or 16.4 millimole. Do you have questions sa ganitong problem? Wala? Let's have another one. Let's apply it sa another problem. Let me just write na lang sa screen. 10. Okay, so the next problem, compute for the moles and millimoles of 3.85 grams of sodium bicarbonate. Can you still remember the chemical formula of sodium bicarbonate? Ano nga 'yon? Paano nga natin gawin yung kanyang chemical formula? Sodium is Na, and then what is bicarbonate again? HCO3. So idugtong natin lang sila. You will have NaHCO3. I hope you can still remember your lesson sa Chem 101 ha, paano gumawa ng chemical formula. So 'di ba, ang unang step, we just write the symbols. So sodium is Na and bicarbonate is a polyatomic ion. It is HCO3. The next step is to look at their charges if kailangan ba natin ng subscript or hindi. So sodium in the periodic table, remember nasa group 1 siya sa periodic table, so positive 1. And if you look at your list there for the polyatomic ions, bicarbonate is negative 1. So if we add this, we will get 0, therefore we don't need to do the crisscross. Thus for sodium bicarb, it is NaHCO3, lobat. Sige, you try to solve the problem both for moles and the millimoles. And just give me na lang both the moles and the millimoles para pang isahan. Okay, let's see. Let's just use 4 decimal points for the mole para maka-adjust tayo sa millimoles. Hindi siya maging whole number. Let us wait a little more for the others. For us na. I still have more time. 0.0458. Okay. Sige, let us solve. Ayan. So we have the following given. First, we have 3.85 grams. That's the mass of our sodium bicarb. So this is for the sodium bicarbonate. Now, what is asked in the problem? Parehas pa rin kanina. The moles and the millimoles of sodium bicarbonate. Now, the same formula, moles is equal to the weight of the substance in grams divided by its molar mass. But the molar mass is not given in the problem. So before we can proceed, we have to identify first or determine first the molar mass of sodium bicarb. So this is NaHC and O. We have 1 sodium, 1 hydrogen, 1 carbon, and 3 oxygen. We will multiply each sa kanilang atomic weight. So we have 23 for sodium, 1 for hydrogen. This is 12 for carbon, and then 16 for oxygen. Okay, so this is 48. And then let's add everything. 48 plus 12 plus 1 plus... ulit. So this one is 84. And take note of the unit. It's 84 grams per mole. Okay, so we have now the molar mass. So we can proceed with the computation. 3.85 grams divided by 84 grams per mole. Let us cancel the grams. Ang maiiwan is moles. So 3.85 divided by 84. I told you let's have 4 decimal places for our moles. 0.0458 moles. Okay, so that's the first one. Now we can proceed. Let's just convert the moles to millimoles. We have 0.0458 moles. And then our conversion factor sa isang millimole class, meron tayong 10 raised to the power of -3 moles. So we can cancel this and then let's proceed. 0.0458 divided by 10 raised to the power of -3. So this is 45.8 millimoles. So again, sa 3.85 grams of sodium bicarbonate, we have 0.0458 mole or 45.8 millimole. Okay? Tama ba inyong answer? Ang uban may na-miss na decimal na kulangan og 0. 0.0458. Okay, let us check our answers kay bisag 0 ra na ang nawala din ha, mali na siya. So please check. Again, 0.0458 and then 45.8. Okay? So I think most of you got the correct answer. Any question about this, computing for the moles and the millimoles? Nagkaintindihan tayo dito, no? So pwede na tayo mag-proceed. Anyway, you can just ask question anytime. So paano kung ganito? This one is another type of problem. Determine the mass in grams. Wait lang ha. Determine the mass in grams of sodium ion. So remember the atomic weight of sodium ion, if you look at the periodic table, is 23. So that's still the unit, 23 grams per mole in 25.0 grams of sodium sulfate. So the molar mass of sodium sulfate is already given. This is 142.0 grams per mole. So this is again another type of problem. You have there the compound sodium sulfate. Pero if intindihin natin yung problem, ano lang yung hinahanap? Mass in grams of our sodium ion. So again, intindihin natin yung problem, ha. We have here 25 grams daw of the sodium sulfate. Yung kanyang molar mass is 142. Lagay ko na lang here, given. 142 grams per mole. Pero, ano yung hinahanap? Ang hinahanap is just the sodium. Ano yung hinahanap sa sodium? Yung kanyang weight or yung kanyang mass. So ano yung paano natin ito siya gagawin? So ako, ang ginagawa ko here is like this. This is actually a problem about stoichiometry. Actually, we will have more of this sa ano natin, so next lesson natin. Pero pauna pa lang ito. So pwede nyo rin gawin, sa chemistry pwede din natin ito gawin na madedetermine natin yung amount ng isang element if it is in a compound. So let's start. Ang ginagawa ko here, ganito. This is my pattern kasi wala talagang formula ito sa chemistry. Gumawa na lang ako ng pattern for this. So this is here the given. So weight of the compound or weight of the given. Tapos i-multiply mo siya sa kanyang molar mass. I-multiply natin siya sa kanyang molar mass. Pero yung molar mass niya, babalik ta rin natin class, magiging ano siya dito, baliktad. Yung grams nasa baba, yung mole nasa taas. Okay? Tapos, i-multiply natin siya sa tinatawag na, I forgot the term, mole ratio. I-multiply natin siya sa tinatawag na mole ratio. Yung mole ratio, ito yung sa isang mole ng substance, ilang mole ng element. So or yung hinahanap. So ilang mole, ay question mark na lang ito, of what is asked in the problem. Later ipapakita ko paano yan kunin. And then, ano nga ang hinahanap nito? Mass in grams. So the next step, wait lang kay. Okay. So the next step is imumultiply na naman natin siya. Dili ko dapat sulat. Okay, imumultiply na naman natin siya sa molar mass ng what is asked in the problem. Pero tama na ngayon, ang grams na ang nasa baba, ang mole na ang nasa, ang gram na ang nasa taas, ang mole ang nasa baba. So this is my pattern in solving this type of problem. Medyo complicated pero dahan-dahanin natin, makuha natin yan siya later. So, anong ginagawa ko here? Una, di ba, the weight of the given. Ano nga yung given natin? 25 grams. 25 grams daw ni sodium sulfate. Tapos, anong next? Sa pattern, molar mass daw ni given. This is for the given, ha? Again, so this is for the given, meaning this is for the sodium sulfate, and the molar mass of sodium sulfate is 142 grams per mole. Pero ano ang pattern niya? Nasa baba si 142 grams. And nasa taas si mole. So isang mole lang yan siya kasi 142 per mole man. So automatic that is 1 here. Lagay natin yung chemical formula para hindi tayo malito kung para kanino siya. Tapos yung mole ratio, ganito. This is how you identify the mole ratio. Remember, mole of sodium sulfate yung nasa taas. So dito siya sa baba. Kailangan kasi natin mag-cancel class. So according sa given, sa isang mole daw ni sodium sulfate, i-identify mo sa taas kung ilang mole ni sodium ang meron. So, di ba pag meron kang isang sodium sulfate sa formula na yan, makikita mo na dalawa si sodium. So yan yung tinatawag na mole ratio. Sa isang mole ng given, ilang atom or ilang mole yung present sa what is asked in the problem. So in this case, pag meron kang isang sodium sulfate, so that's 1 mole of sodium sulfate, makikita natin na dalawang sodium ang present. So ilalagay natin dito 2 mole of the sodium. Ratio sila. Okay? Again, tinatawag siyang mole ratio. Tapos, what's next? Molar mass ni yung hinahanap natin. So, di ba hinahanap natin is sodium. Pero since atom ito, so let's just call it atomic weight. And given yan sa problem. And ano na siya, normal na siya na pagkasulat ng molar mass. Sa taas si gram, sa baba si mole. So this is 23 grams of sodium in 1 mole ni sodium. So yan yung pattern na ginagamit ko kapag ganito yung problem. Kung nakikita natin class, we can actually cancel the unit. So, di ba, ito grams of sodium sulfate and then parehas sila sa baba, grams ni sodium sulfate. Ito din, pwede natin i-cancel mole of sodium sulfate and then mole of sodium sulfate. And then, mole of sodium sa taas, sa baba, meron tayo ditong mole ni sodium. So, ano yung naiwan na unit? Grams ni sodium. So, ma-answer natin yung ating problem kung ilang mass daw in grams of sodium is present in 25 grams of sodium sulfate. And then, dediretsuhin lang natin siya. Let's just do the math. Let's start sa taas. 25.0 times 1 times 2 times 23. So that is, lagay ko muna dito ha, 1,150. Take note, grams of sodium divided by 142 times 1 times 1, parehas lang, 142. So yung answer talaga, 1,150 divided by 142. Let's just round this off to 2 decimal places. So this will become 8.10 grams of sodium. So, well, let's see. We have the same answer. Okay, very good. We have the same answer. So, ano na? Sa 25 grams daw, sa 25 grams na compound na sodium sulfate, meron ka dyan 8.10 grams ni sodium. So, the rest na, diba 25 minus 8.10, the rest na naiwan, yung 16.9 grams, para na yun siya sa sulfur and also sa oxygen. So, ang hinanap lang natin dito yung amount ni sodium na present sa compound natin with the given weight, 25.0 grams. Okay? Sige, let's have another example. Or do you have questions before tayo mag-another example? Kindly take note of the pattern that we are going to use, kasi wala tayo, again, even if you look at sa chemistry books, wala talaga tayo ditong formula. So susunod lang tayo sa pattern para ma-solve natin yan. Gusto natin hanapin yung amount ng isang element na nasa compound. Wala. Ay pangutana. Muni siya kung ginaingon from prelim hangtod finals. Sige lang yung tag-compute ani sa anak yan. Pwede na nako i-erase ne. Then let's move on. Wait lang ha. Okay. Let me give you another example before tayo mag-exercises. Let me have another problem. Isulat ko lang siya sa screen ha. Okay. So again, this is just a one-liner question pero medyo mahaba yung kanyang solving na part. What amount of lead, I am talking here about in grams, ha? Grams ang hinahanap ko dito. What amount of lead in grams is present in 8 grams of lead iodide? So syempre lead is Pb. And then lead iodide, how do we know the chemical formula? Parehas pa rin lead, and then iodide is iodine. But you have to check the charges if you need to have a subscript or hindi. So lead is positive 2, and then this is negative 1. Therefore, we need to do the crisscross. Ang gamitin nyo, class, na chemical formula for lead iodide is PbI2. Sige, kayo muna, itry nyo yung pattern kung masundan na ba. And then afterwards, isulat ko yung solution sa screen.
Ito, ang butang ko.
Paspasa nila. Okay, let's wait for the others if we will get the same answer. May question mark. Pag may question mark, meaning na delay sure. Huwag nga nag-send na question mark. Ano lang initandahan ha, our amount for the lead iodide is 8 grams. So ang hinahanap lang natin lead. So dapat yung answer nyo, hindi siya tataas sa 8 grams. Kasi all in yung 8 grams para yan siya both sa lead and sa iodine. So, expect nyo that dapat yung answer nyo mas mababa sa 8 grams. Two decimals tayo sa answer natin, ha? Again, yung tumaas sa 8 grams yung answer, kindly recheck. Hindi dapat yan siya tataas. Sige. Let's wait for a little more. Two minutes. Iunsa. Okay. Tama na. Unsa na oras? Sige. Layo ra. Dili dapat na siya mag-double. Dili dapat na siya maglampas pag mag-solve mo og aning klaseng problem. If compound ang gihatag tapos element lang ang ginapangita, then dili dapat maglampas ha inyong answer sa amount sa compound. All in kasi yung 8 grams, meaning it's for both lead and the iodine. Now lead lang man ang ginapangita, dili jud dapat siya mo lampas sa 8 grams. So let us wait lang. Ayan. So ang given here, 8 grams lang talaga ni lead iodide. And what is asked? Amount of grams ni lead. So ulitin ko, sulat yung ating pattern class. 'Di ba? Ang sinulat ko kanina, yung weight of the given, hindi lang siya magkapareho ha. So, hindi ko maalala ano yung sinulat ko kanina. Pero it's the weight of the given. This is in grams. And then i-multiply natin siya sa molar mass ni given. This is still for the given or for the compound. Pero baliktad siya pagkasulat, 'di ba? Grams ang nasa baba, mole ang nasa taas. And then, we will multiply it sa mole ratio. And then, ang last thing is, i-multiply natin siya sa kay molar mass ni what is asked in the problem. And then, tama na yung pagkasulat ni molar mass here kasi grams na ang sa taas, mole na ang sa baba. So, pag mag-solve na tayo yung weight ni given, nandito yan siya, 8 grams. Di ba ang given natin is si lead iodide. So, PbI2. Tapos, molecular or molar mass ni lead iodide, grams sa baba, mole sa taas. We need to compute for this kasi hindi pa siya given sa problem. So, this is Pb and then the iodine, isang lead, dalawang iodine. Ano yung atomic weight or atomic mass ni lead? Wala kasi akong predictable.
107.
107. Okay.
207.
Sorry. 207. Okay, this is 207. And then this is, how about iodine?
127 po.
Sorry?
127, ma'am.
127. Okay. So 127 times 2 is 254. Tama akong gisulat? 127? Okay.
Yes po.
Sige, 254 plus 207 is
461.
461. Okay, this is 461 grams per mole. Pero again, balik na rin natin. So this is 461 here and then 1 sa taas. And then the mole ratio, ganito. This is for the lead iodide ha. Kumplituhin natin para madali siyang cancel later. Oh, lito na po. This is for the lead iodide. This is still for the lead iodide. Ang mole ratio ganito. Sa isang mole daw ni lead iodide, okay, sa isang mole nito ha, ito, isang mole ni lead iodide, ilan dyan yung lead? Kung nakikita natin yung kanyang chemical formula, PbI2, pila ka buok lead ang nasa PbI2?
1.
1. Nakita natin yan siya when we computed sa molar mass. Take note, isang atom lang siya dyan. So 1 mole lang din ang ilagay natin dito. Okay? We can call that mole sa atom. So isang atom, isang mole din yan siya. So again, isang mole ng lead iodide, meron kang 1 mole. Ay, sorry, butang na ko ang I2. This is just for lead. Okay? And then, the last part, molar mass ni lead. Pero grams per mole na siya. Or hindi siya molar mass, atomic mass na siya ni lead. So, binigay niya yan sa akin kanina. It's 207 grams of lead sa isang mole. So, pwede na natin i-cancel yung mga units natin. Ito, parehas silang grams of the lead iodide. Nasa taas ang isa, nasa baba. So, pwede siyang i-cancel. The same thing with this one and with this one. So, ang maiiwan is grams of your lead. So, i-multiply natin muna yung nasa taas. 8 times 1 times 1 times 207 is 1,656 grams of our lead divided by ang nasa baba, 461 times 1 times 1. Yeah, so this is 461. So 1,656 divided by 461 is 3.59 grams of lead. So again, sa 8 grams of lead iodide, ang lead dyan is just 3.59. So let me see your answers. Ang habak read sa ko. 3.59. Okay, 3.59. Ha, nabot na yan. 3.59. 3.59 grams. Okay. Tama. 3.59. So do not forget the unit ha. Grams of lead. 3.59. So most of you got the correct answer, 3.59 grams of lead. Ang uban na ay question mark. So, okay, anong nangyari doon sa sumobra sa 8? Which part doon sa pattern kayo nagkamali? Ano yung na-miss niyo dyan? Yung sumobra sa 8 grams yung answer. Ano nangyari?
Nakalimutan multiply ng 2 dun sa iodine mo.
Nakalimutan i-multiply sa 2 yung iodine. Okay.
Yes.
Sige. So, do not forget ha, pag mag-compute kayo ng molar mass, make sure na tama yung number of atoms. So, yung number of atoms dyan, yan yung subscript. Okay? So, 2. And then, since si lead walang subscript, automatic, that's 1. So, be careful kasi pag mali ka na sa molar mass, mali ka na sa lahat. Anything else? Yung mga sumobra ng 8 grams. Pag nag-compute kayo ha, tapos nakita niyo sumobra siya sa given, automatic balikan niyo yung kino-compute niyo kasi mali talaga yan siya automatic pag sumobra. Okay? So yun lang naman. Mostly sumobra, umabot ng 8 grams. 8.10 grams. Merong 9.92. Ano nangyari dyan sa 9.92? Minsan dito kayo magkakamali sa mole ratio. Do not forget class, automatic 1 lang talaga yan siya for the given. 1 mole. And then yung sa taas, yung what is asked in the problem, titingnan nyo na kung how much atom of the element that is being asked is present. So, ganun pa rin. Dito pa rin sa molar mass na computation, kung nakikita natin, isang lead lang talaga ang nasa lead iodide. Okay? Aside from that, do you have questions pa? You want to clarify? Mahirap? Dili man no? Sundon lang nato ang ato ang pattern para dili man gyud siya lisod. It's just that medyo mahaba yung ating process. Again, medyo mahaba lang talaga yung process natin. So be patient. Ay po din nyo kayo dali kay basig pag nagpaspas na kayo ihang gihimo nga computation, you might miss something there in the pattern that we have, and then mamali na inyong answer. Okay? So we will continue next meeting. And then these exercises will become your assignment. So again, itong exercises, assignment nyo na to, na-post ko na yung PowerPoint presentation sa Schoology and nakalagay itong exercises doon. So I need you to show your solution. Ito, compute for the molar mass from 1 to 5. Show your solution. Round off the atomic weights to the nearest whole number. So I expect your answers here sa molar masses will be in whole number also. But for the succeeding na problem, for the moles, I need you to have 4 decimal places here, pero sa millimoles, most likely 2 decimal na lang or 1 decimal, depende sa answer sa moles. And then ito, determine the mass of grams of aluminum in 8.5 grams of aluminum oxide. Just follow the pattern and please round off your answer to 2 decimal places. So any paper that you have, as long as you show your solution, and please box your final answer para pag mag-check ako, madali ko siyang hanapin. So on Monday, we will also answer the exercises after the quiz. Pero take note, para hindi tayo magkalituhan, yung i-quiz ko sa Monday class, yung lesson ko yesterday, yung introduction. Again, introduction chapter 1, ang i-quiz ko sa Monday, first thing in the morning. Mahilig talaga ako dyan. Mag-quiz first thing in the morning kada Monday. Most likely, muna siya ang quiz day, Monday, 7:30. And then after having the quiz, we will answer the exercises. Okay, deadline for the assignment, Sunday. Syempre, 11:59. Do you have questions or clarifications?
Hindi na po i-pass ang assignment sa psychology, ma'am.
Ipas na ipas. Maglalagay ako ng ano doon, submission bin for assignment. Lagay ko lang assignment 1, doon you i-submit yung assignment. Any paper ha, any paper. Basta limpyo lang halipod ng basig newspaper. Minsan sabog pa kayo. Sabog pa kayo kaayan, wala pa ka sa imuhang learning mode, basig nagbakasyon pa na inyong mga utok. Unya, we really need this one. Unya, puros pa jud ni problem solving. So, wala may mabuhat. Okay.